Hey y'all, I'm Lex.
I'm EJ.
And this is
The Lion's Den.
So as promised, today we're doing 21 questions.
Do you wanna be great? Do you wanna be great?
When did I realize I loved her? Man, probably in the car that first night for 5 hours.
You told me you loved me. But it wasn't like it was like with the love of God.
A question to you.
I feel like in the car too, and it started there, like the seed was planted, and it's only has like grown and developed from there. So almost immediately I had just this love for him.
How do I make you a better person?
You challenge me, and also you help me to become more disciplined. And it's kind of a lead by example thing. One thing I have to say about you is you're very disciplined, and we got to be on the same page. So there are areas where I call this year as my year of discipline. That I've identified where I want to get better, where I want to have more accountability, set goals and like fulfill them, complete them. That's where your focus is, and you help me to become even better at that and having more discipline. So that's fun.
For me, how you make me a better person, I would say when I first met you at the end of 2016, I wouldn't be where I am today if it wasn't for you, because honestly, you were here and I was here. I had to get up to your level, and you were in your master's program and you gave me a study Bible, and that thing changed my life. So really identifying my purpose, growing in my intimacy with God, because I had already read the Bible cover to cover before I met her, but I didn't really understand it. So she took my knowledge of the Bible and of my relationship with God just deeper and deeper, just because she gave me a study Bible and she believed in me. So your belief in me and just pushing me to my potential.
And real quick, that study Bible that I got you, like that was just, I was in prayer and God told me, you need to get him, you're about to go on a trip for a workout in Florida. And God's like, he's traveling, he's going to be by himself. That's going to be time where he can get in his word. You need to get him that thing by tomorrow night so it's with him on the plane for his trip. And I went to the store, searched whatever I had to do, and I got him that book. Nothing to do with me. It was all 100% God that put that on my heart and said, get him that study Bible and get it now.
And I tore that thing up. What are the colors for the wedding?
It's a secret. No, it's like, we don't know. It's a lot going on right now with planning. We don't know yet.
When is the wedding?
Information will be disclosed very soon. That's under wraps right now.
Where's the honeymoon?
We don't know. I got some places in mind that I'd like to go. Maybe Thailand, Mexico. We went to Mexico. That's a lot of fun. Maybe we'll go back, but we'll see.
What is one embarrassing moment you had in front of me?
I'm gonna go to your embarrassing moment. Honestly, my embarrassing moment honestly, that's gonna be a whole episode on itself. We're not even gonna go there. We're gonna go there at one point. It'll literally be a whole episode. I gotta get in this space to share this and be vulnerable. So I'm gonna hold off for now. So let's just go to your embarrassing moment.
Do I have one?
I'm sure you have one. So you're just cool. You always got it together.
I don't think I have an embarrassing moment in front of you.
You just got no shame. No.
I guess not. All right. How do we manage? This is a good one. How do we manage disagreements? So I'll initiate. In 3.5 years, we have not had one argument. I'm gonna say that one more time. In 3.5 years, we have not had one argument. But that's not to say we have not disagreed. When we disagree, we're mature enough and we honor each other to hear what the other person has to say. And instead of reacting, we process it, we absorb it, and then we respond to one another. So it's not an argument. There's no bickering. We don't yell at each other. We hear what the other person has to say, absorb it, process it, and then respond.
And then also sometimes it's not automatic. Like if we're in the middle of having a disagreement, it's not like, okay, I hear what you're saying. So sometimes I gotta just be quiet. And I'm gonna be like, I'm rather just be quiet than go off or get upset. I'm gonna just process it, and then I'm gonna respond later when I've had time to chill out or, really process what's going on. And that works better. And then what happens is like we're able to communicate and how I felt about something. He wasn't even trying to come off that way or vice versa. But we would never know that if we didn't take the time to just be calm about it and then communicate and have a response, not a reaction to what the disagreement was.
Last two things I'll add to that is, I know with me, I had to be very intentional about developing my communication skills because like I said, she was already up here. I had to get to her level. So that's something I had to be very intentional about. Read books, study on that stuff, and literally practice. And last thing I'll say is, we don't curse. We don't use vulgar language, because one thing I've noticed, when people curse, it escalates the situation so much more than it has to be. So the fact that we eliminate that, I think it eliminates so many problems.
Yeah, I think again, just having respect for one another, and then just that unconditional love. Like love means you love them, you love that person through good times and the bad times. Things don't have to be perfect, but with respect that we have for each other, love, and then also God at the foundation of our relationship, we're able to avoid major, arguments and things like that.
Facts. This next one is about celibacy. So, two parts to the question. One, do we think it is imperative or necessary to be celibate in relationships? So we can answer that from our personal standpoint. And I would say God's way is the best way, point blank, period. God tells us that it's in our best interest to do it His way, to do relationship His way. And He has set up boundaries, parameters for us to operate in relationships so we can be successful in those relationships. And celibacy is one thing that God clearly says, and he talks about, Jesus and Paul talk about sexual immorality, which encompasses fornication, which is premarital sex. So you eliminate premarital sex, and basically you have the opportunity to get the man or woman God has for you. Because if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 6, Paul talks about how when you commit sexual sin, you sin against yourself, meaning, I'll talk about this more in a later video, you sin against yourself, meaning you literally rob yourself of the destiny that God has for you. Essentially, you're trading the $1 million thing God has for you because you want to be impatient, and you're giving up that $1 million thing and you're taking the $10 thing.
I 100% agree. And then also it's important because it helps to keep your judgment clear. I think when you add sex in the mix, sometimes your judgment is clouded, sometimes you're overtaken by it. You're even like within relationship, he's my heart, like I love him so much, but even still it's God then him. I think sometimes when you open the door and you become sexually intimate too soon, prematurely, what happens is that person becomes your world. And you don't even have to have sex to do that, but you run yourself at risk of forgetting and losing your priorities and keeping God first. So I think it's important because it keeps your judgment in check. We do it, it's worked for us. So
I'm glad you said that, because sex clouds your judgment. So the other person in a relationship might mistreat the other person, but if they're having sex, it's like glue. Sex is an adhesive. It keeps you glued together. So even if the person is being mistreated, it's like they can't even leave the relationship if they want to, because their judgment is clouded because they're glued together.
it's like their souls
Exactly.
become one. That is meant to happen after or once you're married, not before marriage. That's out of order.
Part 2 is, are we both virgins? So, she been doing this God's way. I didn't even know fornication or premarital sex was really a sin, honestly, because I didn't I didn't grow up in church or anything like that till I was really like out of college. So once I read a book called The Weight by Megan Good and her husband, that's when I was truly informed of fornication and I understood what it meant. So I was convicted of my sins. So she is, I'm not, but I've been celibate for quite a few years now. Coming up on, actually, I probably just had my 4-year anniversary. Yeah. Next question. I'm EJ Frame. Somebody wants to know, can they start calling you AJ Frame?
If you call me AJ, you'll be the first to do that. Nobody calls me AJ, but you can call me Mrs. Frank.
All right now, somebody. Woo, woo.
Put your hand down.